Hey everyone, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Today is Tuesday, June 6th. Hope you're doing awesome out there today. And in this video, a bit of a different style video today, going to be discussing my thoughts and opinions on whether or not we could see Tilray Brands engage in further M&A, which is mergers and acquisitions, and whether or not Village Farms could be a potential candidate that Tilray would be looking at. I've got some evidence to support this, but obviously this is just me speculating. So again, take all this with a grain of salt. This isn't confirmed. This is 100% me just speculating and looking at a couple things that were said in the recent AMA. They asked me anything with the CFO of Tilray and me trying to put a couple things together. But it would make sense. But again, just going to share my thoughts and opinions. We'll also look at the VFF chart today. There was some decent gains on that. But before we get to it, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe. Tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. They also mentioned in the recent AMA that they could be saving their cash for other strategic opportunities and specifically M&A. So again, going to go over my thoughts and opinions on what is the likelihood of Tilray Brands and Village Farms coming together. And again, before anybody gets too, if I ruffle any feathers, I'm sure to do that in a lot of my videos. I'm sure somebody's going to be, put off by this video and this title. Again, I don't know. This isn't me saying, spreading FUD or spreading rumors or anything like that. This is just what I've seen, and I'm going to discuss the likelihood of this happening. And again, we'll look at the chart here in just a moment. But before we get to that, I just want to shout out to the community, almost at 500,000 views, closing in on that each and every day. So I very much appreciate everybody who supported me along the way. It was not easy. And like I said, I really appreciate the support along the way. I also did a video yesterday on Tilray Brands. There is a daily bear flag targeting 124. I go over what we need to see for that bear flag to confirm, and then the target of 124. And then obviously if we get above the 0.32 fib, that would negate the daily bear flag. But in this video, I mentioned the possibility of maybe Tilray targeting VFF, or whether or not we could see some sort of strategic deal strike there between the two companies. So I mentioned it in yesterday's video. Also did a video a while ago. This was 2 years ago, actually, on whether or not there were some rumors spreading that Canopy Growth and Village Farms could potentially merge. So again, Village Farms has come up in this before, and this wasn't me, spreading rumors. It was just from the community and in the sector. That was a rumor that we had. So maybe Village Farms is looking at potentially engaging in some sort of merger. We know that there's over 1,000 LPs right now in Canada, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of federal excise taxes, which have been unpaid, and a lot of consolidation and mergers and bankruptcies could ensue, right? Until the Canadian government had said that anywhere from 30 to 40% of companies' revenue is going to federal taxes. And obviously there's going to be taxes, but it doesn't need to be that high. And like I said, with the fact that there's over 1,000 LPs, much consolidation is still needed. And I would expect a lot of mergers and acquisitions to continue. But here's the AMA from Reddit. I also did a video covering this as well, but I just want to break down the key points here. So this was from Carl Merton, the CFO, Chief Financial Officer of Tilray Brands. This was 11 days ago. But if we scroll down here, it says, why not use the $400 million in cash on hand to pay down the debt that was due? And he said, because we believe cash is king, and we remain focused on strengthening our balance sheet as well as our cash position by paying down a portion of debt and reinvesting in Tilray to further grow our global businesses and invest in new opportunities across our diverse business segments, including strategic and accretive M&A, mergers and acquisitions opportunities. And another thing they say, across our diverse business segments. And then if we scroll down here, one of the questions was, has there been progress on repurposing growing capacity for fruits and vegetables? Or do we foresee this move providing shareholder value? And he said, thanks for joining. We are making progress internally on the switch of some of our currently idled capacity for fruit and vegetable production. That switch will not happen overnight, and it's being done to help on a short-term basis consume overhead and generate profits to the overall business from otherwise temporarily idled assets. And again, we know that VFF is into fruits and vegetables. So could that potentially be an acquisition that Tilray could pursue? I think very much so. If they are talking about different, across their diverse business segments, and they even mentioned fruits and vegetables, and we know that VFF was mentioned in a rumor potentially with a merger with Canopy. So could we potentially see the two come together, lock arms, and strike some kind of deal? I think it's very possible. Again, this is just me 100% speculating and just putting, kind of two and two together and seeing what some of the comments were from the CFO, and it kind of makes sense. And we know that Village Farms is going to ship Pure Sun Farms MJ to Germany, and we know that Tilray has a big presence in Germany and across Europe, right? Leading market share. So again, this is more, around that thought process of the two companies and kind of lining up some of those similar business parts of their business, right? So this is another example of, well, they're both, potentially tackling Germany, and we could see some synergies there. And then also we got the word from MJ Biz Daily back on April 24th that Village Farms was warned by the NASDAQ stock exchange about its low share price. Not the only one. Aurora did a reverse split, and then they're getting another warning, and then OGI, so Organogram, has a warning. CGC is at risk of potentially getting a warning as well. And VFF and Tilray not that far away either. If we were to see that daily bear flag go down to 124, it wouldn't be too far away from seeing a potential warning as well. I don't think it's going to get delisted or reverse split. Personally, I really don't think so. Anything's possible, but that's just my thoughts and opinions. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with that or what your thoughts are. But Village Farms has until October 17th to become compliant with NASDAQ's $1 minimum bid price requirement. So again, not the only company, but this could be, some of this distress, right? They could just reverse split it as well to maintain that listing. But, again, there's not just one company. It's not just Village Farms. It's the whole sector, right? And there's tons of companies that have had to struggle with this. And again, all these, thousands of LPs, we don't need that. The hundreds of millions of dollars that are unpaid in federal excise taxes just goes to show that the sector is really struggling, and mergers and acquisitions could really pay off, for COGS and SG&A and saving, right? Just focusing on becoming cash flow positive and, EPS positive and positive adjusted EBITDA across all their business segments, and just consolidate and focus on really driving that part of their business and profitability, right? So taking a look at the VFF chart, it is an hourly bull flag today, and we finished the day up over 15% on VFF. So off of the low there at 55 cents, from the low to the high, it's now up almost 23%. And like I said, if we take a look at the hourly bull flag, you take the measured move from the low to the high, you move it out to the 0.382 fib, and it says we're targeting here about 75 cents, but we need to break 68 cents to confirm the hourly bull flag. But we did close at the high of the day today, which means that we could potentially see some upside from here, and increases the odds that we could see this hourly bull flag play out. But if we drop below 64 cents, that's going to negate the odds of this hourly bull flag playing out. But again, if we break resistance there at 68 cents, that will confirm it, and we'll be targeting 75 cents here USD on the NASDAQ. And then if we zoom out here to the monthly time frame, we're not even starting the monthly bounce yet. So the high of last month is at 79.8 cents. And then we have virtually no resistance on the monthly time frame all the way up to $3.53. So this could be a solid play long term, right? Or a swing trade. You could set your stop below the low there at 55 cents. It would have been nice to get it a little bit closer to that low, playing off of 50 cents psychological as a potential bottom play. But even if we just go back to the EMAs from here, that's 155% of upside and 410% of upside if we trend back to the EMA 26. And that's generally what happens with these EMAs is we gravitate back towards them. We get exuberant to the upside, and then we come back and we test it as support, the confirmed resistance, we get exuberant to the downside, and we usually ebb and flow back towards those EMAs, right? And those types of moving averages. In this instance, the exponential. But as you can see, weekly EMAs have been a brick wall as well. We've been unable to close a single candle above these weekly EMAs. So if we were to confirm a weekly candle close over EMA 26, that would be a huge momentum shift and another possibility to go long with 100 to 200% of upside there. This could be a nice play. And like I said, there's some strong support there, 50 cents psychological. So if you would have got it even down as low as that, playing off of that support. But the common theme here is that most stocks are down 80 to 90% plus, and VFF is one of them, now down 97% from the highs of February 2021. And that's a common theme. If we take a look at Tilray from the highs of February 2021 is down over 97% as well. CGC from its high in February 2021, now down over 98%. So again, this is a common theme right now in the space. And I do think that VFF could be due for some serious gains here if we can start this monthly bounce. So that'd be another opportunity. You could go long with a break of 79.8 cents and then look to potentially swing trade that. But again, being down 97% from February 2021 highs and all-time highs, that's generally a good time to start buying, right? Especially investing and loading up for the long term. And none of us really know what companies are going to have long-term staying power, right? So just like the early days of the internet, or just like the early days of crypto, just like the early days of MJ, no one really knows which companies are going to be here 5, 10, 20 years from now. So that's why we kind of take a diversification approach, and we get multiple producers in America, we get some in Canada, we get some retailers, ETFs, things like that. That if we can just hit 1 or 2 unicorns, that's going to make it all worthwhile, right? And I think that Tilray is going to see long-term staying power. I think it's going to be a top 5, maybe even top 3 global powerhouse for decades to come. And it's essentially Tilray, Aphria, Redecan, and Hexo. And again, they're talking about engaging in even more mergers and acquisitions. Then they have their alcohol business, Breckenridge, and then they have Montauk, they have Sweetwater, all in the States, which can become MJ brands later on. So it's looking pretty good here on VFF. Obviously, congrats to the Bulls, up over 15% today, but we're still not even starting monthly bounce. We got a ton of work to do before we confirm a monthly uptrend. Not even starting the weekly bounce yet, but on the daily time frame, we're still in a daily downtrend. So anything under 75 cents was a daily lower high. So now we need to see a higher low followed by a higher high to be back in a daily uptrend. Then we need to start the weekly bounce, then form a higher low and higher high, get into a weekly uptrend, then a monthly uptrend. So we're still many months away before we can be confident in a bottom being set on VFF. But we do have the 10-week moving average there at 73 cents as well, and we have the 50-day moving average. The 50-day moving average at 74 cents. So I expect 75 cents to be strong resistance, and that's also the target for the hourly bull flag. So I think that right now we could potentially be coming up to resistance where we might bump our heads and then come down, form a weekly higher low, and then come down somewhere around mid 60s and then form that weekly higher low. But we're looking really good here. We're starting to see a bull cross of the stochastic, and the MACD is bullish as well, but I'd like to see a weekly candle close over 75 cents to be confident. And then we have nothing nearby into the 50 weekly moving average there at 168, so we do have some runway. If we can get over that 75 cent hurdle, then obviously $1 psychological, which is also the share price requirement for the NASDAQ. And then we also have the 100 moving average there at 93 cents. So I think $1 is going to be very strong as well. But after that, nothing until about 147, the 200-day moving average. So like I said, there's definitely some runway there if we can get over 75 cents. But $1 will be the next resistance after that. But like I said, this not even starting the monthly bounce yet, down over 97%. If we get any kind of news of Tilray buying them, usually the acquiree, so in this case, potentially VFF, they could shoot up. That's usually what happens. And then the acquirer usually goes down. Things obviously don't play out the same every time, but that's usually what happens. But again, this is just me speculating. I'm putting some words together, and I've seen a couple things from the CFO, and then I've now shared that with you guys and gals. So let me know if you agree with me, disagree with me. I always love hearing from you. As always, not financial advice. And do your own research. Don't take what I say or what other people say. You need to do your own research. Be confident in what you're buying. Diversify, right? Not just in MJ, not just own multiple MJ stocks, but in other asset classes as well, right? Real estate, whether it be crypto or tech stocks or, bank stocks, anything, right? You can diversify, and cash is a position as well. So again, interested to hear what everybody thinks of me putting this together. Do you think there's any, do you think there's any truth to this? Do you think this makes sense? Would love to hear from you as always, and we'll continue the conversation in the comments below. But going to end it there, it's Rob with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care.